All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to week 4 of Football Focus Weekly, sponsored by Victory Chevrolet, excuse me. Where just $19 down delivers any new or pre-owned vehicle. Make sure you visit victorychevycharlotte.com today to check out their inventory and pick you up a nice vehicle. So you see what we got on the show tonight. We got the Dirty Dozen and CMS Best of Last ranking updates. We got a new episode of Fact or Fiction with some early season conclusions for the panel. We got our week 4 game previews. We got game predictions. We got slime time. But most importantly, after we run the intro here, we're going to have Mooresville running back Jadarius J-Man McCombs on the show. We're going to talk to him about what he does best on the field, talk about his Mooresville program off to a good start at 2-1. So sit back, relax. We'll be back in about a minute and 10 seconds, and we'll get that interview going.
Y'all ready to work?
Yes, sir.
All right, good. Let's wake up now. It's time. It's time.
Your stepping down kind of caught them by surprise. So, yeah, can you kind of tell us what went into your decision to step away from coaching right now?
Many of these early offers are what they call contingency offers, meaning the offer is contingent on certain things happening down the road, like a corner growing 1.5 inches.
Let's not undersell this thing. A lot of coaches use this as a recruitment tool. I've lost several players because of 7-on-7 thing. And that's fine. You know, kids choose where they want to go, but at the same time, that wasn't the intent of doing 7-on-7.
You gotta have the trick daddy to get the blood flowing. Welcome to Football Focus Weekly. I'm the pet man, Matt Morrow, once again. You see the rundown on the show tonight. We got one comment in the bucket. We'll get it in real quick. Of course, it's Kim. Of course, she's always first. Welcome to the show, Kim. But now we are going to bring on a very talented running back from Mooresville High School. He is Jadarius J-Man McCombs, and we're going to bring him on the show right now.
Hey, how's it going? What's going on? Good evening, everybody. I hope y'all doing good at home. I know I got about 4 people from Mooresville watching right now. I know Kyle probably coming on here, chat administrator. He's going to be on here soon. If he ain't already on here, I think he's on here, though. I know Coach H going to tune in, so, we're just here to represent.
Okay. Well, you obviously have watched the show a couple of times. Well, Jadarius, it's glad to have you on here with us, and we definitely appreciate the time, man. I know you guys are working hard up there at Mooresville, and you're on your bye week right now. But first of all, man, I want to ask you, what are your thoughts so far on the season, and why is the season kind of going, well for you guys so far?
I think that for us, we've put ourselves in a position to where we want to, we want to win on every phase of the game. I think that Mayo has preached that to us and embedded it in our minds that when we win, we want to win dominantly and on kick return, kickoff, offense, defense, win in every phase and be dominant while doing it. I think that the loss to Reagan was tough for us. We took it, a little bit on the chin because we knew what kind of game we were coming into, and we have a little bit of a point to prove when every time that we play, no matter who's it's against. We just want to be that dominant team that we know we can be. We have a lot of talent on the team. I think that our team is very underrated, in my opinion. I think that we're going to do a lot of things that people aren't going to expect. But sitting at 2-1, you can't really complain too much. We take the loss, it's on to the next game. And, you got to move on from it. It's more of a lesson learned. So I think that we've gotten back on the right track this week, and having this bye week is allowing us to play and do what we do best. And, that's just, I think we'll be great going into playoffs, even better. I don't think this is the same Mooresville team that we've seen the last 2 years. So.
All right, man, awesome stuff right there. Thank you for that great answer right there. But you're on here because you had a great game last week. You had 200 rushing yards. You had 4 rushing touchdowns. Just an awesome performance. What was the key to having so much success in that last game?
I think that for me, it's my success has been deriving from me being consistent with my craft. I've stuck on a consistent basis for so long throughout my life, and all 12 years of playing, that if I preach it to myself that I'm consistent, that I will be great. So it's never like a day off for me. Even if it's a physical day, it's going to be a mental day on. So I think that as long as I'm being consistent with what I'm trying to do and the goal and helping my team win, that we will be just fine. And even myself. So I'm not, I'm never satisfied with what I do on the field every day. As soon as that game ends, it's a new goal. It's more yards, more touchdowns. It's helping this team. What can I do to help my team win and put us in the best spot? So I think that I will always have this mind frame of being consistent and being dominant in what I'm doing and believing it. I believe my passion is one of very few people, and I think it's rare. I think I'm one of the rare people that a lot of people come across. And I think that a lot of people will vouch for that. So
Yeah. I mean, just, kind of hearing you speak and then talking to you before the show, I would agree because, a lot of the times, when we do interviews with different players,
mm,
we don't get a lot of detail. And there's nothing wrong with that, but to your point, it does make you stand out. It does make you rare, and those are the kind of things that we like to shine a light on here on a Football Focus Weekly for sure. So let's talk about you a little bit, man. For those watching the show that may not be familiar with your game as a running back,
mm.
what are some of the best things you do on the field as a running back, in your opinion?
I think that I am unpredictable, and I feel like that I can play that card a lot in every game that I play because I'm one of the players on the team. Like every team, regardless of what film they watch, I'm gonna give them something they're not going to expect. So coming in, it's just like it's an instinct thing for me. I'm gonna go out there and run the ball and do what I can do to go good in the end zone. I think that my unpredictability is a huge X factor for me because it puts me in a lot of great positions to make plays. And I'm doing that behind my O line. They've done a great job this year, and I think I build off of what they do, and I let them know that like when y'all do y'all job, I can do mine, and we'll win together as a team. So I just think that unpredictability factor is huge for me. It's a game changer because not a lot of teams know what to expect when they're watching number 20. So I think that's a huge factor for us.
Absolutely, man. So you mentioned chat administrator, so he has shown up.
Yeah,
He says 20 has legit talent to get to the next level and to stay hungry and to stay humble. So you call the chat administrator out, he usually will show up. So
oh
there you
yeah, definitely.
go.
We've talked for a little minute. I think we've been in contact since like my freshman year at Mooresville, and I
Okay.
watched me growing a little bit from freshman year to sophomore year till now, and so I'm appreciative of them. I love the support. It really hits home for me.
There you go, man. And then your coach right there, your position coach checking you out,
Age.
giving you a little bit of love right there. So that's always good to see, man. Um, so to finish up, Jay, man, what do you like off the field, man? What do you like to do in your spare time? I see some stuff in the background I want to ask you about,
Yeah.
but talk to us a little bit about what you like off the field.
I think like off the field, I am, I'm still football. I try to like keep it, a little balanced because I don't want to be too much about football in my off the field life. But it's like it's been my life for so long. I'm 16 now, just turned 16 last month. So it's like it's always been a constant for me just talk about football. But other than that, like I like being around like my friends. We go out, I like to play a lot of backyard sports, just be me, make people happy, as long as I keep people smiling and, being that person to them that I didn't have for myself or I don't have for myself. I think that it makes me, again, a rare person. I think that I am catered to by my supporters and my friends and family for that reason alone. I think that I'm bright, and I don't put that on thought in my mind. I think that I've got gained that thought by the people. I let them put their opinion out on me, and I'm just gonna put my best foot forward whenever I can. So I think that I just, have that goal in mind to allow people to know who I am and where I come from, because there's nothing else better than that.
All right, man. That's well said. I admire you having the Bryce Young jersey in your background right there. Are you a Panthers fan?
I've been a Panthers fan since I was 5 years old. I know somebody I know they're gonna come on here and try to, talk about that little blowout. We're not worried. We're not worried about that, man. We ain't worried about none of that stuff that's going on. We're gonna be good. Listen. Come Sunday, if we win, I told the whole team I'm coming to school Monday with the Bryce Young jersey on.
There you go. There you go. We need more of that. We need more of that right there. That's what I'm talking about. But stay tuned, J-Man, because we will talk about the Carolina Panthers toward the end of this show, because there's things that need to be said. But that being said, I really appreciate the time. I think you really, speak well for yourself, and obviously your play on the field speaks for itself. Keep doing a great job, man. And hopefully we'll be, at Mooresville pretty soon to catch you in person.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, that's Jadarius J-Man McCombs from Mooresville High School. Running back, had a big game last week, 200 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns in their big win over West Rowan, 66-0. My goodness, wow. All right, well, let's get the show started. We got some guys here, so let's bring them on. First of all, he is the linebacker coach at Independence High School, also the JV defense coordinator. That's Adam Big Eye Shelby Weber. Welcome to the show.
What's up, pal? What's up?
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, man. Ready to get after it tomorrow with the young guys.
All right, good deal, man. Who y'all got?
South Meck.
South Meck. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they got a good JV. That'd be a good one right there. All right, he is now the offense coordinator at Walkertown High School, who's kind of been the talk of the state here recently, going 3-0. That is Coach Ian Tatum.
What's going on, Pep? What's going on, Big Eye?
What's the secret to the 3-0 start at Walkertown?
Hey, man, all credit to kids, man. 100%. Like, we faced some good adversity against Salisbury and Forest Hills, and these kids, they can get down on themselves. There's no infighting. They came out and, showed up, put it on them. So just the kids, man, and just camaraderie, and then they all want to fight hard for each other. So, I mean, we got that going. We got leadership on the team. You're going to find yourself in the W column, man.
All right, man. Great job, man. Keep it going. All right, and then finally, last but not least, so far, we have the head coach at Mountain Island Charter, Coach Dub Robert Washington.
What's going on, fellas?
What's up, Coach?
Man, not much, man. A crazy last 5 days, but we got through.
Yeah. How's your son, man?
He's doing a lot better. We'll know more Monday. He gets an MRI, but as of right now, he's moving around fine, just rehabbing. So we're just taking it a day at a time.
All right. Very good, man. Okay, so for the show tonight, we got a lot to talk about. As I said in the open, that is the rundown right there. We're getting ready to get into the Dirty Dozen and CMS Best of the Last ranking updates. All right, here's the Dirty Dozen, sponsored by the Queen City Senior Bowl. Registration is open for eligible seniors for the Queen City Senior Bowl. Make sure you go to queencityseniorbowl.com and apply. It takes less than a minute. If you do not apply, you cannot be considered as a selection for the bowl game. All right. I say this every year. We get a bunch of people that apply, and then we get a few people that don't apply, and then they get mad at me. So please make sure you go to queencityseniorbowl.com and apply to be selected in Charlotte's All-Star football game for seniors. All right. Not too many changes. Top 4 stay the same with Weddington, Providence State, Independence, and Huff. West Charlotte moves up 1. Mallard Creek moves down 1. J.M. Robinson up 1 spot. Monroe up 1 spot. Mooresville up 2 spots with the impressive victory they had. Charlotte Christian drops 3. That lost to Independence. Catholic drops 1 with the loss to Providence Day. Crest joins the poll with their impressive victory over Shelby. I'm sorry, Big Eye. We had to reward him.
What you sorry about? I'm at number 3.
I like it. And then knocking on the door, we got South Point, Marvin Ridge, Cuthbertson, and Ashbrook. So, thoughts on the updated Dirty Dozen?
It's your list, man. Hey, you go off what you know.
All right, that's great. I'm glad I'm making everybody happy.
This
next one will not make everybody happy because I've already heard about it.
You know how to go, Pepper. If you got to make an adjustment, chat administrator gonna put the email right there.
Hey, Pep.
Yes, sir.
I would take Catholic out, move Crest up to 11, and
they play each other Friday, so
and then move Ashbrook in there.
You put Ashbrook at 12 and take Catholic out?
Yeah.
Okay.
But again, like Cuz said, it's your list. Looks good to me.
And 11 and 12 play each other Friday, so it's gonna be some movement.
Oh yeah, there will definitely be some movement after this week for sure. Kareem Chavez Lopez says it finally looks good. Oh well, if I make you happy, Kareem, then I'm happy. That's
Kareem, a cool guy, man.
You know what I know, so yeah, absolutely. Nice to meet Kareem. We met before, but anyway. Summer Blevins, good to see you. How's your son doing? Hope he's doing well at Charlotte. All right, so now we'll move on to the CMS Best of Last. All right, Independence still at number 1, Huff at 2, West Charlotte 3, Mallard Creek 4, Myers Park 5. That is the top 5. Followed by Olympic, who moves up to 6, RGK at 7, Providence 8, Butler 9, and Hopewell 10. Then you see the rest of the Best of Last on the other side of the screen. Excuse me. This received some feedback on both Instagram and Facebook when I posted it late last night, and then into today. And I'll share some of the. And Adam, thank you for jumping in on Facebook. Some people were upset that Butler was at number 9, despite them being 0-3, and we both shared with the individual questioning that they have had probably the hardest schedule in the state. And then they took Irmo, a 5A South Carolina state title contender, to overtime and had a chance to beat them in overtime, So when you see that, number 1, and then you see the progress from where they were week 1 to where they are now, that's exponential progress. And I'm not going to penalize, number 1, a team showing that, and then a team showing that against a strong schedule, because the way that I put this together, I think Butler can beat any of the teams listed under them. That's the way I look at it. And then the teams above them, I would favor those teams, but that's how I look at it. And I know people, when they look at it in their own way. And, the person questioning the poll did not think an 0-3 team deserved to be that high, which, I get it. People weigh different things, the way they want to weigh them. But, you have to have some context to, what you're doing, in my opinion, at least. But thoughts on the Best of Last update here for week 4?
I like it. I think people got to take account of who you play. I know sometimes an 0-3. I guess they look at it as the high school level. They're like, they 0-3, so they shouldn't be top 10. When maybe if another team was 2-1 or 3-0 and they played 3 better teams, then they would be in that, right? I still think. I think out of respect, you got 6, 7, 8 where they are because of their record. But I'm not for sure that all 3 of those teams might be better than Butler, you know what I'm saying? So it's like you can't put. Where you gonna put Butler at 17? I get it. Because the teams on the right side, I think they only don't won maybe one or 2 games. I don't think none of them. are 2-1. See, they 1-1. A lot of them are 1-1.
Yeah, Olympics undefeated. They're 3-0. RGK, I believe, is 1-2. Providence is 1-1 because they didn't play against South Met. So to your point, it's a little bit of a mixed bag right there.
Yeah.
But even Hopewell at 10 is 2-1. And that leads me into some feedback on Instagram that said, Hopewell is a little high. But their only loss was to Marvin Ridge, and they lost that game 34-21. And we saw what Marvin Ridge just did to RGK. They beat them 42-28, coming back from being down 28-7, 35 unanswered points. So, you have to take the information that you have and, do the best you can with it right now. We're still early in the season. We're still in the pre-conference. So, we're still kind of trying to figure some of this stuff out. Going to the comments. Let's see here. So Jonathan Mitchell says, is Malley Creek's game this week a reschedule or has it always been on the schedule? That game, they didn't play Cardinal Gibbons. So this was their bye week. But that game happened literally this week, from what I've been told. They were trying to find a game because they didn't want to have, 2 bye weeks, going into conference play. And they were able to find Archbishop Moeller, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And yes, they're out of Ohio. They're considered the best team in Cincinnati. And then, as you say right there, from Max Preps, the number 4 team in Ohio. So we'll talk about that game in a little bit. But yes, that just came together this week. And we talked about it on the show before. We had the Duck and Smoke segment, and we were trying to figure out what the opposite of that is. And Malley Creek is definitely not running from anybody. So,
Pep, it's
kudos to those guys.
Pep, the opposite is all the smoke. That's what I found out. It's all the smoke.
All the smoke. They want all the smoke. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they've definitely got it up there. I mean, they played Grayson out of Georgia, very tough, and losing 28-14. We saw they beaten Prince Avenue Christian multiple times, state champion out of Georgia earlier this season. So, yeah, they won it all for sure. Chat administrator, if you have a problem with the ranking, please use the email address pepperswrong@gmail.com. I've only had 2 emails this season. You guys must be pretty happy, or you don't email. So there you go. Make sure you use that.
Also, Pep, something that people don't understand is the difference between a ranking and a power rating. Like, I see this as a power rating. Like, just because, like, we talk about Butler 0-3, but on a neutral field, I mean, it's an 0-3 Butler, only better than these teams that, they're over. So, and that's your opinion, it's your power rating. So, people just move on, man.
Yeah, and I agree with you, Coach. I used to call it, I had another name for it. I used to it was called a Power 15, because at the time there were 15 schools, but CMS Best to Last, because it just helped people understand who was eligible for the poll. Like, every other week someone says, why is Charlotte Catholic not listed? And I said, well, they're not a CMS school, so they're in the Dirty Dozen, but they're not in CMS Best to Last. So that's kind of why. But yeah, you're right. It is more of a power ranking, that's for sure. Welcome, producer.
Good evening. Didn't want the ratings to drop, so let me hurry and get in here.
Oh man. Let's see. Mizzle, what's up, man? Good to see you. And Ronnie, I was getting to your comment there. So it says Butler will finish 5-5. Hopewell is not better than 10-15. Well, I kind of just mentioned the Hopewell. You look at the game against Marvin Ridge, 34-21. And then you look at the teams in this case, 11-15. Do you think those teams would play Marvin Ridge as competitive, more competitive, or less competitive than that? That's the question, when you're looking at this. And then, usually when people will say things like this and then they question, as you did twice, Ronnie.
You wanted to make sure you saw that. Like, look.
I always say, post yours. what would yours be? And we usually don't get a response. I think only Kareem Chavez Lopez, who we talked about earlier, has posted rankings. No one else posted rankings.
What's Hopewell's record again?
2-1.
Mm-hmm.
And in their one loss, they were competitive against a good Marvin Ridge team. So, Joe Hughes, once again, Pep is wrong at gmail.com. Well, he didn't put the Gmail, but.
Hey, Joe Hughes, give you your own domain. You get your own website.
Oh, that's hilarious. I appreciate it. And let's talk about this. I did see playoff projections. Thank you, Chad Administrator, and I don't know. It's not even the conference play yet. and conference champions help determine, a lot of this stuff. So, to do this at this point is, a little interesting to say the least. But I mean, people get excited about the playoffs. So
I think it's big because of the RPI coming out. So, like the first RPI ratings are coming out, how teams stand based on who they've played, all that stuff. So they want to push out the playoff stuff too.
Coach, have you seen the RPIs?
Yep.
They are terrible. Yeah. Which makes it even more crazier that we're having playoff discussions because, some of these RPIs make no sense. Like, for example, there's a team ranked number 5 in the classification who just lost to a Division II private school program. I'm not going to say the names. You go look at it, and you can figure it out pretty quickly. But that's just no, it's too early, man. That's just my opinion. No shame against the outlet that did that. But you see Chat Administrator's comment. I'm not putting it on the screen, but you see his comment. That's kind of what I'm making reference to. Jonathan Mitchell says, as long as Indy and Huff are your top 2, your rankings are spot on. Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Mizzle, whenever you want to come on, man, just shoot me a message. Whenever you want to come on. I always, try to welcome any opinions that people want to share, man. So just let me know, man.
Even the unwelcome ones are still going to come.
Everyone's welcome. Who would be unwelcome to join us?
Okay.
Don't say no names. Stephanie Reynolds says, all right. The question from last week, was there a running clock to determine ranking? Y'all know what you're talking about?
What we were talking about last week, far as Myers Park getting that running clock on.
Let's not go there again. Okay. Myers Park had a good win against Sun Valley last week, so that was definitely impressive for sure. I think that's for you, Big Eye. Asking about how Shelby did last week, which we did address because Crest got added to the Dirty Dozen. So
the Independence is 3-0.
That's a great response.
I like it, man. All right, so that's the CMS Best of Last. Thank you for everybody's opinions on that. And if you don't like the rankings, please post yours, and we'll share them. And we'll let everybody, pick your rankings apart. So, anyway. All right, it's time for Fact or Fiction. First of all, I want to start with this. Union County has the best football in the state. Is this fact or is it fiction? Big Eye, we'll let you go first on that.
Who's all in Union County?
Weddington, Marvin Ridge, Porter Ridge, Monroe, Cuthbertson. Those are the main ones.
So do their county have the best football in the state?
Yes.
Fiction.
Who does?
Based off the number of schools, it would have to be CMS.
Mecklenburg County. Yeah. All right, Coach Tatum, fact or fiction? Union County got the best football.
I would say fiction. I would say they have the best team in North Carolina, and they have great quality. If you want to go quality over quantity, I know they play each other in early on in the non-conference. So Cleveland County, once you get into conference play, that'll kind of sort itself out, and you'll be able to come back to this conversation and say Cleveland County. But if you want to go with CMS, because they have, all these top schools, I guess you could go CMS. I'll go CMS, so I'll say fiction.
Fiction. All right. Coach Dub, Robert Washington, fact or fiction?
Man, you know what? I thought about this one, and I'm actually going to go fact.
Okay.
Again, like Ric Flair said, to beat a man, you have to beat the man. Weddington is the best team in the state, regardless of classification, public or private. And then you also got some strong contenders like your Monroes, your Porter Ridge, Marvin Ridge. It's a pretty consistent county. So I would go fact until somebody take them down.
All right, well said. Producer, fact or fiction? Union County has the best football in the state.
We still early in the season, so my opinion could change. But at this point, at this early point in the season, I'll go fact right now. Now that could change. Other teams could shoot up. Some of their teams could take a dip. But at this point, a few weeks into the early season, I'll go fact. But we'll see if that can stay, if they can sustain that. But for right now, sure.
All right, a little split on that. That's interesting. Yeah. All right, the comments say Kareem Chavez Lopez says fiction.
What makes y'all think is fact?
Just looking at the records and and some of the teams they've beaten. Just that little condensed pocket, those teams he named, but they just have a lot of quantity teams in a small spot. That's really all. But next week that could change. I could change my mind. That's why I say it's kind of weird doing these polls so early in the season.
Yeah, I agree with producer.
Chat administrator says fiction if we're talking countywide, fact if we're talking about weddings.
Yeah, I'm saying like they have one team.
Now you don't think the other teams are worth talking about?
No, I'm not saying they're not worth talking about. I'm saying when you say it's their county as a whole, school for school, if you can put them up against another county per if they got the same amount of schools, who's better? Okay, if you go Weddington, people will probably say Weddington is better than everybody's number one.
Okay.
But your 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is not going to be better than CMS or anybody else that has extra number of matches.
Well, cuz one would argue, and you was on the side. Monroe had a strong chance of beating the number 3 ranked team.
So I'm saying if they rank number 3, that's based off somebody's personal feeling about everybody else. But I'm saying if we said, okay, if you said Weddington number 1 Union County, if you say Independence number 1 CMS, okay, cool. Most people will probably say Weddington. Cool. Okay. You go number 2. Who's number 2 in Union County? You gonna go Monroe or somebody? Cool. You go Huff. CMS. Okay. Number 3. Right. You gonna say Sun Valley or Porter Ridge? Okay. They're gonna say Myers Park or West Charlotte. Then people gonna say, okay, CMS. There's nobody.
Because we're talking more pound for pound. It's like boxing. Floyd Mayweather couldn't beat Muhammad Ali. There's 2 different weight classes.
So everybody is 3A, 4A, but CMS only has 1, 2, 3A.
Okay, let's talk. Who's beating Weddington in CMS?
We can.
Last time y'all did.
They got to get proven though. I'm saying that's the only 4A team though.
And I'm talking about who beats to proven otherwise, and there's no knock. Y'all very well could beat them this year. I know. But at this point,
we gave you Weddington. So if you go pound for pound, they have a juggernaut. Then everybody else is fair game.
Okay, so I got a question.
In the county.
Okay, so let's talk Monroe. What's Monroe's 2A, right?
Yeah, there's no 2A team for them to play in CMS, so they have to play 3A.
Okay, what 2A school right now? Let's talk Cleveland County, right? It is, or let's talk this area, Gaston and where most of the 2A.
It's no 2A schools until you get to Shelby and Burns. You don't see a 2A school from Monroe to Shelby until you see Shelby and Burns. I think that's all. Now, if it's any in between, you gotta let me know outside of Forest Hill. But I don't know.
Community School Davidson, but
I don't know what they have, so I can't vouch to say they'll beat Monroe. I've never seen them play.
Man, I'm just saying Monroe marched down the field on a powerhouse, on a CMS powerhouse. Marched right down the field on them.
Yeah. Nobody's not saying that. I'm not saying that Monroe's not good. You'll never hear me say that. I'm saying their county. The only way you can do it if you say who's the best 5 in Union County versus the best 5 in CMS, and the only one people gonna give you is Weddington. After that, they're not gonna give you that. Now, if you want to say,
I don't know about that though. I don't know about that.
Who's considered the best 5 teams in Union County? Outside, you got Weddington. Okay, who will be?
Yeah, I would say Weddington, Monroe, Marvin Ridge, Cuthbertson right now, and 5th would be, I guess, Porter Ridge.
Okay, well, I got it. Who would you consider the best 5 in CMS?
Pat,
so
we just did that.
So if everybody played and matched up, how many games do you think Union County win?
Different weight classes. Different weight classes.
But it's only one. It's only one different weight class, though.
But think about this. Okay, so any of those teams that you named, Pep, how many teams really want to see them in the playoffs? Those are teams that can knock other teams off. Those are dark horses. For example, Cuthbertson. Don't come with your A game and play at Cuthbertson. It'd be one of them. Dang, you see what happened?
That's how I was looking at it. Teams that could make a deep playoff run.
Yeah. I'm not discrediting that. But again, the majority of 4A playoff teams come from CMS, so you still gonna be wrong on that side. Well, not wrong. I'm saying the facts prove otherwise.
I mean, it's a good question. It's
think about it. I can go off last year. 3 teams from the same conference made it to the 3rd round.
You got a point. I'm with you.
How many from Union County? If you take how many from Union County made it to the 3rd round outside of Weddington?
3rd round. I'd have to pull it. Porter Ridge made the 2nd. Marvin Ridge got knocked out first. Sun Valley made the 2nd. Porter Ridge, I think Porter Ridge made 2nd. So yeah.
So again, I'm not discrediting how good they are. I'm saying once you want to start comparing, like 3 teams from the same conference made it to the 3rd round last year. So and 2 of those teams, they're not even considering them top 5 in CMS right now. So that lets you know how tough the football is.
Yeah, Monroe did make 3rd round. Yeah, because they lost to Bunker Hill. Yeah, that's a good call.
So you had Monroe and Weddington. Again, then you had Indy, Butler, Catholic to make it to the 3rd round.
Okay.
So
that's fair. That's fair.
I'm just saying now I think Union County plays good ball. Don't get me wrong, because Union County plays good ball. Majority of their teams started out last year, I want to say 3-0, 4-0, until they started playing each other. So that is a testament of how good those teams are. So I don't want nobody thinking that they don't play good football. I'm just saying if you want to start comparing, I think it's just different levels. And those teams are good. So it's all iron sharpening iron is all we're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. So Eric Weber says Cleveland County has the best football per capita. Oh, okay.
Yeah, pound for pound.
What I'm saying, even still though, like being in Charlotte, you can't really say that because if you pick the 4 best teams from everywhere, I don't know how many games Cleveland County wins.
True that.
Like because you can't match them up because 2A is not in every county. 2A is not in every county in North Carolina.
Because, and I'm going to this pound for pound factor. You put Crest and Burns together. What you got?
You got put Crest.
No. I'm saying. No. Cuz listen, what I'm saying. So
you can't do that though.
Cuz I understand what you're saying. That's why I said pound for pound, Cleveland County is a good, strong argument that they are the best county. The reason being is because if you put some of those schools together and make them a 4A program, how many 4A programs are really competing with?
Okay, that's like saying if we combine Garinger and Hopewell or combine East Macon somebody else, everybody's gonna be better. You start combining people.
No, I understand that because what I'm saying is you can't say, okay, well, if Shelby played Malacrete. No, that ain't a good matchup.
I
because
know.
it's
So
student
that's what I'm
body.
saying. I understand that, but I'm saying even if you match
Didn't
up,
they scrimmage, right? Didn't they scrimmage?
no. But that's what I'm saying. Shelby and Burns is so
Years
small.
ago?
You can match. You can put Shelby and Burns together, and they still won't have as many students as what Charlotte has. So as I'm
That's
saying,
my point.
even if you combine them, if you combine Shelby and Crest from back in the day to now, that we'll probably be a national powerhouse. But you can't go on the record and say, okay, who's the best? You got 4, so we got to pick our best 4. They're never gonna match up. Now it may be a year, like I tell everybody, it may be years where a Shelby or Crest or Kings Mountain, even the Burns at times could come to Charlotte and compete. It's just gonna be about who you really want to see them get matched up with. You know? So we can't be like, I'm saying, you can't come out and say, I want the best. Then say, no, not those guys, but the next best. So
All right. Well, we thank you guys for really breaking this down. And the comments have been great on this too. We talked Forest Hills. Thank you guys for pointing out Forest Hills. They made the 4th round and lost to Shelby. Good stuff right there. Let's see here. We never do anything for ratings on this show. We never do anything for ratings.
You can.
Because
Hey,
the numbers are what they are, Joe. They are what they are.
But Pat, while we're talking about ratings, see, while we talk about ratings, we are the #1 show. Let's make that clear. We are the #1 show. Just saying.
It is what it is.
To close out the topic, Nizzle says CMS not even close. Next question. All right, we'll go to the next question. And this one is, I think, a valid question. Butler and Chambers glory days, are they over? Big Eye.
I mean, glory days. I mean, I think Butler has been traditionally a good program, so I don't think starting out 0-3 means their glory days are over. I mean, it is what it is as far as their program go. I mean, I don't know the history of the program until now, but like I said, they've won state championships. I mean, so their program has always been good. Like I said, I don't think because you came off to a 0-3 start that the glory days are over. I think Chambers might be a different story. I think that what Chambers did in that span of 4 years, I want to say, it might not be duplicated again at that school because of the talent level that came through that school with those coaches was that was second to none. So I mean, if you want to call 4 years glory days as far as the Chambers go, I mean, so be it. But I mean, based off that, yeah, I don't think Chambers can repeat what they did.
All right, fair enough. Coach Tatum, fact or fiction?
I mean, I'm gonna go with this statement right here. Don't make assumptions on the next 3 to 5 years based off of today's shortcomings. So
okay,
just because like Coach just said, just because you go 0-3, you're having struggles right now, it doesn't mean like automatically it's dead. Like you're not coming back, it's over, like start over. Like, and traditionally you talk to most coaches, especially when they're looking for a new job or they're looking to take a job, if a place has historical success, they usually can get back to that. So I don't say that the glory days are over. I mean, anything can check. You never know who move into the district, who take over a job, and be right back. So I would say that's fiction.
All right, good statement, man. Coach Dub, fact or fiction? Glory days over Butler and Chambers.
Fiction. You got to know the history. Our Charlotte teams know Charlotte football is so trendy. Like different programs have different runs, and especially in programs in areas where it's populated with talent. Chambers pull from a heavily talented, populated area. Same way with Butler. They'll be back. They just got to retool. And who's to count them out this year? Like I said, you never know. I mean, we're talking 3rd, 4th week of the season. I'm still not counting either one of those programs out, but I wouldn't say they'll be down. They're just having a different year.
All right, good stuff. Producer, fact or fiction?
I'm definitely going fiction. I just think it's too early to call that. We've seen teams start out slow and kind of catch on a streak. So 3 games in, it's too early to say that the glory days are over. Both teams can still make the playoffs, and both teams can still make a decent run in the playoffs. So, like Coach Dub said, they both pull from some heavily talented areas. Both still have talented coaching staffs, so it's too much still there, and it's too early in the season to say that. So, I'm definitely got to go fiction for now on that topic.
In the comments, Trez Walker says it's over for a little while. Independence is back, West Charlotte is back, and Creek is back.
And let me add too. Butler was within a point and took Irmo, who's a legit title contender in South Carolina, took them to the wire. So yes, they didn't win the game, but that shows they still got a pulse for sure. Irmo's a really good team, and they took them to the wire and was within a point. So that says something.
Yeah, and I talk to people about this all the time, right? What do you consider teams that are dominant or programs that are dominant, or like what do you consider like traditional programs, right? Because if you look at it, right, Crest is considered a dominant team in the state every year, right? But they haven't won state since 2015. So people get caught up in who's winning now or who haven't won, and like just because that we may not be winning right now in this current moment, we asking questions. You have to take into account of everything that came before this, right? So, like, if you talk about Independence, right? Okay, they went on their run they won 100+ straight games and 7 titles, and like, and people say, oh, because of how dominant they were and what they did, when it dropped off, people say, oh, they're not good anymore. Nobody cares. So now that you back winning, they're like, oh, the odds back. They're back. They're back. I mean, well, it's all about like conversations like this, like, oh, is the glory days over? Or you know what I'm saying? Like people looking at teams' records and saying, oh, the glory days over. Well, I don't think it'd be harder now to duplicate what the teams before you did. Like it'd be hard for a team now to duplicate. Like you go to Chambers, you duplicate going to 3 straight titles, or you would go to Independence and you win 100+ straight games, or if you at Butler and you win state titles 2 out of the 4 years, I think they did, but it might have been you know what I'm saying. That's still hard to do,
Right?
Because of how the game has changed. You talking about at one point in time, people winning state championships when all you seen was triple option, or you see people did like coaches wasn't the smarter they are now. Like the offensive game has changed, the defensive game has changed. Like the transfer portal has changed with private schools and stuff like that. So like even with private schools, like it's hard to replicate it. Like if you've seen a private school that was dominant for 10+ years, now the playing field is even now with a lot of schools. So I think people get caught up in saying, oh man, their run is over. I mean, okay, like people say, CMS football, somebody's on top every 3-4 years. Like it's gonna change, but that don't mean that the other teams ain't good. You know? So I mean, I think that's more so like when fans be wanting to talk like, oh, they're done. I mean, God, dude. I mean, it's hard to win 100 straight games again. Like,
I mean, yeah,
that's tough.
To that point, let's go with chat administrator. He says Butler might be 0-3. Guarantee when they make the playoffs, whoever gets them round 1 will not enjoy themselves. Yeah, there will be a low seed that nobody wants to see. Coach Cunningham says all those teams have to do is get hot at the right time. They're both going through transition. Now that's true. Time will tell. Wouldn't count them out this early in the game. And then Joe Hughes says we were in South Carolina. We'd just be saying it's only non-region play. Yeah, to that point, man. I mean, we're in non-conference still. And
that's the same thing that happened with Dutch Fort last year.
Yes.
Tommy started out losing, and everybody talking about, oh, Dutch Fort's done. Dutch Fort's done. They suck. Then they messed around, let him in the playoffs, and he won a state championship.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, closer to home, it's like last year Shelby, 0-3, won 11 straight, lose the regional semifinal. Like,
yeah, I'd love to see what we were saying about Shelby this point last year. Oh my goodness.
They're saying the same thing now, so I mean they're turning it around. You know what I'm saying? But it goes back to who you're playing in those first 3 to 4 weeks. Like that's big. Like your non-conference schedule is big. You can, if you complain about the non-conference schedule, blame the state because of this new RPI stuff. That's why people are scheduling games like this now.
That's good for Butler because you play Roseville and Richmond and you play Irma, then Chambers. They lost to Glenn, and that's up here we are, and that ain't great, but it was.
All right, well, on the last one, we'll talk about this as a group. Do we need to keep moving games for rain only? I mean, we're talking about Friday. It's just going to be rain from a little bit of rain from a tropical storm, but no thunderstorm, no lightning, none of that. So do we still need to keep moving these games up in the week and then affecting schedules and things like that?
I'll say not for rain, but thunderstorms for sure. Thunderstorms are a hazard. What I'm saying? You got bleachers and stuff like that. I think for rain, it just depends on what type of team you have. Like, if I'm a Charlotte Catholic, we're playing.
Well, they are playing Friday.
So, but if I'm a team that can run the ball, I'm not really worried about the conditions, But I think some people look at it like Coach Dub would say. Some people will start ducking smoke and want to move games, or we're gonna line it up. Oh, then it rain. Oh, we're not playing no more. We're good, guys. But I don't think you should move it because of rain. The part of playing the sport outdoors is playing in the rain at some point.
Yeah.
Now, thundering, stuff like that, you can't do that. Because what you going to do when you go to college and you play and it's a hurricane outside and it's pouring down raining? They're not going to stop the game because it's raining hard. Your team just going to run the ball, or they may try to throw it every once in a while. So you just got to adjust. I mean, I think kids have fun playing in the rain.
We used to love it, man. We used to do that, what do you call it, Supermans in practice.
Oh yeah.
Man, kids ain't built like that no more, man.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I think now for Fridays, because of the tropical storm element, and you always want to yield on the side of caution. I know, for us personally, everybody in the county have moved their game but us. So it was kind of we got to at least take a look at it, because if you don't want to be that team that play on Friday and something happened, you get what I'm saying? Because again, you're still serving an educational base. It's still educational based athletics, and I'm all for let's play in the rain, but certain elements like tropical storm may impact it. And also coming from more of a athletic director side is more think gate.
Mm-hmm.
When you play in the rain, people aren't going to come out. I mean, they could watch some of that stuff on the NFHS network. They want to come out. You want to make sure that the weather's clear so you can make a good gate too.
I was gonna say because our game against North Davidson, Tripp's a North Davidson alum, and he's going back home, and they didn't hire him this offseason. That's another issue. But it's a big game, and the AD knows it's gonna be a big game, so he's wanting to move it to Thursday. The head coach doesn't. But I mean, hey, it ain't baseball. This is football. So play the game. We're gonna tear up their field, and this is what it is.
I like that. Coach Haverkamp from Mooresville says, no, suck it up and play. Like it.
Coach said that he got that. Coach said that because he got that running back. That's what I'm saying. If you out here wanting to run the ball, man, people ain't gonna care. And also too, I think what plays a factor in North Carolina or just in general, what type of field you had, because we got turf, let's roll. No question that, let's roll.
But another thing is,
still gonna suck for the fans. But depending on how good your turf is, you have better chance of still playing. It still can be a great game on turf.
And again, Yaz bring up a good point, and I forgot to mention.
I'll put that down. Yeah,
we're in a state of emergency. You
cannot in a state of emergency
for North Carolina is
really
because of the tropical storm. So you do not want to be an educational institution, and you're playing on Friday in those conditions. So, I mean, normal rain, I got you, but when we're under these conditions, I understand, suck it up, but you got to kind of, if somebody gets hurt, you got to think about the liability. You got to think about the liability.
Hey, back in August during teacher work days, when the hurricane came through, they told us to come work. So they're
not worried about y'all, I guess.
The teachers and the students are two different things. We both know that.
Yeah.
Hey,
but
tell
just
them, come say them. If we can drive to work, they can drive to the game.
Yep.
well,
Now,
I got a question, Pep.
also
So
about housing too for buses too. You got to take into account of the bus drivers as well.
Yeah. Go ahead,
but
Coach.
I'm gonna tell you something else. So what messed my whole perspective up and got me out of just thinking like a coach was when I started reading Jim the Jury. Y'all got to check it out. I think they just continued it. But when I was taking athletic administration courses, I had to take a course based on lawsuits, right? The legal side. People get sued, schools get sued for so much stuff, the smallest thing. And it always gives you cause to pause because our first thing is we don't want to end up in the news, right? In this day and time, because people will sue you for whatever. So just if you're the only school that's playing in the county and one of those fans slip and fall and severely hurt themselves. I'm just saying, and that's what made the Jim and Jerry made me start thinking like that. It's a liability thing. So you might as well schedule the Thursday, good weather, good gate. Let's play ball.
That's fair. In the comments, Eric Walker saying no, it's football. He's also says soon we'll stop playing if it's too windy.
Yeah.
Oh man. Armani Bird, our Clover guy, says who doesn't love playing football in the mud?
DBs.
Tell you, man. Oh man, Stephanie Reynolds says with rain issue, they're a soft culture. Boys are young men and not made of sugar. Thank you, Stephanie. All right. Coach Trotter says we are not moving ours. 2 pass first teams. Going to be interesting. Okay. All right. Y'all don't know Coach Trotter is the head coach at Pine Lake, so there you go.
That's a good way to look at it. Both teams got to play in it, so. But obviously, your scheme, depending on your scheme and your personnel, that has a bit to do with it. But I kind of see the old head in me wants to just say, you know what, it's whatever it is. As long as it ain't a hurricane or lightning or a tornado, go ahead. But I see what Dub says about the gate. Like you said, if it's pouring, maybe few parents will show up. But other than that, you're going to be playing with just the teams out there and a couple foolish people like us that might go out there anyway. But other than that, you're going to have a very thin gate. So I guess they feel like if we moved it to a Thursday or even a Monday, we'll get some more money. We have to, some of these schools, it just depends. Some of the schools depend on that gate more than others. And we might think it's insignificant, but some schools, they really need that. So, I would say this, if it's just regular, just normal rain, tough it out. But in this scenario, tropical storms, excessive rain, I understand the desire to move it. I get it.
And then too, you got to look at it too. With it happening 2 weeks ago as well, people have already moved those games to their bye week. So now it's like
great point.
Now it's like if you go in the playoff, people don't want to risk going in the playoffs with 9 games. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you got to try to at least attempt to play. Then, like I say, like we did, if it gets too out of control, then you make a decision then about playing it or moving it.
Because I even seen a game that was rescheduled for Friday get moved to Thursday. So it was a game that was rescheduled the week before, get moved to this Friday, and then had to move to Thursday to make it happen.
Yeah. See?
Wow. Great comments. Thanks, everybody. Joe, I see your comment. I can't put it on the screen, but I do see it. But we'll move forward. We will discuss our Week 4 game preview, starting with Catholic going on the road to take on Crest in a very interesting matchup. A matchup that has happened a good bit in the past, with them previously being both in 3A, as they've met in the playoffs a couple times. And we just talked about rain. Obviously, rain's a factor. Catholic, we know they want to run the football with that big offensive line. Thomas Wakefield being one of those big guys up front. Crest, the running back Aiden Carson, one of the best running backs in the metro area. This is a very interesting game here. What do you guys think?
I think that'd be a good game, man. Old school matchup from back in the day. Crest and Charlotte Catholic always used to play. Charlotte Catholic is familiar with Cleveland County football. They always had run-ins with either Kings Mountain or Crest. Funny thing about this game is that wide receiver King Rhodes played at Crest last year, and now he's at Charlotte Catholic. Yeah, so that'd be a good. I'm sure that'd be a good matchup to see him against his old team and his friends and old teammates and stuff like that. So that'd be good, man. I think Crest want to come out and make a statement in this game, and I think Charlotte Catholic want to do the same thing. I think this would be a good, hard-nosed football game.
Yeah, Catholic coming off the tough loss to Providence Day 24-9 last week. And of course, we discussed Crest winning over Shelby 27-14. So teams coming off a bit of a different, kind of mood because of 1-1, one loss. So very interesting to see that happen on Friday. Another Friday matchup. The aforementioned Shelby Golden Lions, coming off that loss to Crest, are going on the road to take on the undefeated Olympic Trojans. For Shelby, there are usually a passing team, but with the weather, running back Tristan Tate's going to be a big key player. And then for Olympic, they got two running backs that can run the ball well, Devin Walker and Reese Graham, both seniors. So thoughts on this matchup?
Look, people can say what they want about Shelby. They don't duck smoke. They don't care what A you in, 4A, 3A, they'll line up. So I just want to add that in there. That's a good thing. We'll never say Shelby duck smoke.
Well, B, it's interesting you say that because most Cleveland County teams don't duck smoke. And that's why they consistently beat the same teams in the playoffs over and over. Because they don't duck smoke, they ready. And some of those teams that come to Cleveland County, they're not prepared because they haven't had a tough schedule, and they get beat every year.
Wow.
Facts, though.
Joe Adden says Shelby must do better than 13 rush yards. Yeah, I would agree with that.
I would agree there.
I would definitely agree with
13
that.
rushing yards, Joe.
Oh boy. I've seen Olympic in person. And when I saw them, I thought their defense, they did all right against North Mac. The big thing their defense did was force turnovers. And, when you got a rain game like this, possession is going to be, really, really key. I think it'd be fair to say both of these teams, even though Olympics undefeated, both of these teams have struggled with turnovers this season when you go back and start looking at, stats and things of that nature. So, whatever team can possess the football and not give it to the other team in good field position is going to have a good chance to win this one. I see it. I won't address some of this other stuff that I see.
Go
ahead.
Then you have to look at it. Last year, Olympic came down to Shelby, and Shelby pretty much.
Thank you. I was going to say that.
Pretty much blew them out. So I think Olympic will want to try to look to get their face back this time around on their home field. And as well, like you said, like the weather conditions, Shelby has struggled in the first three games with turnovers and getting stops on defense a lot. So I think that's what the main point of emphasis this year is, just finishing games and getting off the field on third down and not turning the ball over and creating and establishing the run game.
All right. Excellent. Good stuff. Interesting game right here. This is a rematch from a couple years ago in the playoffs. We got Myers Park going on the road to take on Richmond County. This game is still on Friday down at Richmond. And we've been kind of echoing this theme throughout. Running backs for Myers Park, RJ Alexander and Josh Falzerano will be key, along with the quarterback, Jared Lockhart, who is a dual threat player at the quarterback spot. I think Myers Park is definitely still going to try and take their shots and throw the football on Richmond. You look at Richmond, linebacker Teronde Spencer has got off to a great start. He's a 6'3", 230-pound outside linebacker who has been one of their main defensive threats on the season. Myers Park coming off the win over Sun Valley, and then Richmond's coming off a loss 31-13 to Cardinal Gibbons. Thoughts on this matchup?
I think with Myers Park, I think this is a statement game. This is going to tell us if those rankings are right, if that fifth seed is warranted. My gut tells me yes, because Coach James obviously, you know, Coach James, he's a hell of a coach.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Myers Park make a statement in this game. I think they win. I know we ain't predicting, but I think they show that they're one of the top programs in the area.
If you guys want to predict it, hey, go ahead. I don't care.
Myers Park.
Myers Park, okay. Joe Hughes says Richmond's win over Myers Park a few years ago about broke the internet. And I know you're talking about the playoff win down there. That Drake May was still at Myers Park in that game. And then, you know, when Myers Park went down there, they were favorites. You know, they were favorites in that one, but they weren't able to get over the hump and get that big win. Caleb Hood was the quarterback at Richmond at the time, I believe. But yeah, that was a big one for sure. And then they mentioned this earlier in the show when somebody asked, I believe it was Mr. Mitchell, but Mallard Creek is taking on Archbishop Moeller out of Ohio. They're in Cincinnati, Ohio. And this game is being played in Ironton, Ohio. It's a neutral site game, technically.
You ever been to Ironton, Ohio?
In Ironton, Ohio.
You been there?
I have not been there.
Oh, okay.
I just know that the Mallard Creek people told me it's 5 hours away. And apparently it's 2.5 hours away for Archbishop Moeller. So I think it's one of those third-party games. You know, I was reading some stuff where I guess Moeller had another team scheduled to play, then they backed out at the last minute. So Mallard Creek was looking for a game this week because they didn't want to have two byes, and they stepped up and they're going there and playing on Saturday. So you know, for Mallard Creek, I think the key is, can their passing game come alive? I think they're running the ball well. They did throw a touchdown pass last week. I saw a nice highlight on that. But, you know, I think, you know, if their passing game can come alive and match the powerful run game they've got, then they really got something there. And then the key for Moeller is to get off to a fast start. In the two games Mallard Creek has played, both of them, the opponent has got off to a really fast start. When they beat Prince Avenue Christian, they had to come back from being down 21-0. And then the team Grayson last week got out to a, I believe it was 14-0 lead really quickly. So that's the key for Moeller for them to get a victory here. Any thoughts on this one?
One thing I'll say, I probably take some heat for it, but I don't care. I don't live in Charlotte. But
okay,
it ain't negative about Mallard Creek. It's all credit to them. But Mallard Creek is playing that Providence Day schedule they should be playing. Like Tinsley, literally, like he's sitting there like he probably looked all over, like 6 hour radius. Like, hey, I'll go anywhere. They're getting nice charter buses, and they're gonna take up there and take a Thursday and Friday. I don't know, how that works out for them, but that's incredible. I mean, 5 hours. I mean, that's dope for them to go do that.
Yeah, because really, Archbishop Moeller, that would have been a good Providence Day matchup, right? Because Providence Day needed a game. They had canceled the Asheville game. So, shout out to Mallard Creek, man. They won all the smoke, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I really admire them, and I'll say this too. I admire CMS because in the past, CMS would not allow schools to go out and play these kind of games unless it was a lot of red tape and different things that had to happen. But now with different changes in CMS leadership, they are allowing our schools to go out here and get into these kind of spotlight games and have these kind of opportunities to do some really great things for kids. I mean, think about it. If you're a senior at Mallard Creek, you've gone to Prince down into South Carolina to play in the Turf Kings thing where they played the school out of Georgia. You played a nationally recognized Grayson team at home, and now you're going to Ohio to take on this Archbishop Moeller team. And I mean, that's stuff that they're going to remember for the rest of their lives, man. And that's awesome. That's awesome, man. Win, lose, or draw, man. I agree. Shout out to Coach Tinsley and that Mallard Creek program for going out, challenging themselves, and finding out who they are. And that kind of stuff bonds a team. You know, these experiences and, you know, all this stuff, man. It's really, really great stuff, man. Joe Hughes says Archbishop Moeller will play anybody. Well, that's evident right here.
Clearly.
Yeah, so y'all remind me to tell you something after the show about this too. That's pretty cool. But all right. Those are our week 4 previews. A lot of teams are on bye this week. And looking at the numbers, you guys are watching the show, so appreciate you watching. We'll get into jump faster. Week 4 game predictions. All right, we just talked about it. We'll come down the line. Myers Park and Richmond County. I'm gonna take the Myers Park Mustangs. Big Eye. Who are you taking?
Myers Park.
All right, Coach Tatum.
Not sure. I'm gonna take the home team, Richmond County.
All right, Coach Dove.
Myers Park.
All right, producer.
I'll go Myers Park.
Okay. Mountain matchup right here. AC Reynolds at Watauga. Producer.
AC Reynolds.
I hate betting against Watauga. AC Reynolds has been a mixed bag this year. I'm gonna take Watauga, man. I can't bet against them. Big Eye.
AC Reynolds.
AC Reynolds. All right. Coach Tatum.
Watauga.
Watauga. All right. Coach Dove.
Watauga.
Oh, all right. We're split on that one. All right. Lake Norman at Marvin Ridge. We'll start in the middle. Coach Tatum.
Marvin Ridge.
All right. Coach Dove.
Lake Norman.
Okay. Producer.
Marvin Ridge.
All right. I believe I'm going to take Marvin Ridge. Big Eye.
Give me Marvin Ridge, man. Coach Leggett, I got your message this week. I ain't gonna go against y'all no more, so I'm going Marvin Ridge.
Hey, Pep, I got a question. Can I switch my pick?
No.
You know we don't allow that, sir. How long you been around?
Once it's said, it's said. That's it.
Okay. All right. Lake Norman, let's go. Wildcat.
Our old buddy, the engine, Kenneth McClamrock, Rocky River, going on the road to take on Barry. I'm going to go with the engine to get his first career win at Rocky River. Big Eye.
I'm very disappointed in myself. I'll go with Rocky.
All right. Coach Tatum.
Yeah, I'll go with Coach and go with Rocky River.
All right. Coach Dub.
I'm going with Kenny. Let's go Rocky River.
All right. Producer.
The engine, Kenneth McClamrock.
All right. Engine, you ain't got no pressure on you. That's a clean sweep. We'll find out what happens Friday night. And then to finish it up, a little South Carolina action. Northwestern at South Point. Producer.
Northwestern.
Coach Dub.
Hey, Joe, who you got? Right on time. Northwestern, baby.
By 27. Jesus.
Y'all got to stop cheating, man. Coach Tatum.
He's our South Carolina expert.
And I'm going to go with Coach Collins at South Point, man.
Oh, all right. Big Eye.
I'm going to go with South Point.
All right. I love Bobby. He's a good friend of mine. We worked together on the Queen City Senior Bowl. Northwestern. All right. So,
I already knew what it was when you started out like that.
Those are our week 4 game predictions. Remember, make sure you check out Friday Night Live every Friday night, 11:45 p.m. on these same outlets. It is your show. We talk about what you post in the comments. You got scores from the Charlotte area, commentary, interviews, and more. Make sure you come and join us. All right. Now,
because you see how they didn't have the Carolina Panthers in the predictions. Jordan being the good.
It is now time for Slime Time. All right, Coach Dub, who you want to slime tonight?
Okay, so I want to slime some of these coaches, man, sending bad film, bro. I mean, it's getting bad. It's getting terrible. Like before we knew you don't always send your first game film. I always send my first game film because I don't got enough people to be doing multiple angles and stuff. But this stuff is getting terrible, man. Like it got so bad I couldn't even see it. Like I literally couldn't see the film. So man, coaches, y'all step your game up, man. Film, like you still got a game plan for the team. And guess what? When you send us bad film, we're gonna get the film anyway. We're gonna find someone that's gonna send us the correct film. So please do a better job of sending quality film, man. It's not gonna give you an advantage. I know it might make you feel better, but man, you still got to coach, man. It's getting bad out here. I knew back in the day we did it back in the day, but it's at an all-time high right now. It's terrible. And Pep, then they blame their cameraman. You call the head, oh man, my cameraman. I don't want to hear about your cameraman. You're the head coach. I don't want to hear about your cameraman. Do better.
I might have to start up CFI Film Services.
That could be rather lucrative.
Coach Tatum, who you want to slime tonight?
Well, there's one that I can't say on here, but I'll tell y'all afterwards about slime, and I'm sure y'all know about it. But shoot, I don't know, man. I'm gonna kind of take the high road. I don't really have anybody want to slime tonight, but hope everybody has a good week of games. I'll tell you that.
Tatum, get him. Tatum, get him. We do not take the high road on Wednesday. This is hump day. You tear into him. You just don't say no name. Tear into him.
I know. I got one for you, Tatum. You need to slime that end zone line painter in Kansas City. That's who you need to slime.
Yeah. Hey, the equipment guys, they need to get likely some smaller cleats.
Oh man, Big Eye, who would you like to slime tonight?
Oh man, nobody in particular, man. But I had my slime last week. You Panther fans, so that's gonna be my slime for.
There you go, cuz. Get him.
I told you last week, man. Trash. Like, how do you get blew out like that in a professional setting in football?
Poor kids.
Poor kids, man. Hey, I'm blaming the coach, but I do got a slime, man. My boy Uncle Shay went viral today.
Woo!
Oh boy,
he went viral, and you got to catch up with the times. You can't throw the phone down like that. You got to turn the phone off. Turn your phone off, man.
We'll leave it at that. If you don't know what we're talking about, if you just look up Shannon Sharp Instagram, you'll find what you're looking for. Producer, who would you like to slime tonight?
If anybody been around a while, it should be pretty obvious. I gotta slime the Panthers for somehow looking worse than last year. Like you added people, you signed free agents in order to you look as bad as you ever have. So instead of, I'm gonna try a different approach just to get it out the way for the whole season. You know how in comic books, if you watch Batman, Joker fell in a pool of acid, and that's how he became the Joker. So instead of pouring the slime on the Panthers, I'm just going to drop them in a big pool of it. All of them, the whole organization. I'm just going to drop them into the slime and just leave them there for the rest of the football season. So it's done.
Oh man, that's funny. That's funny. From the group artist, not the group, the fans here. Armani Bird says slime the Panthers. That was atrocious. Joe Hughes says, oh wait a minute. Joe Hughes says slime Deshaun Watson. Oh boy, that's another one. Look that one up too if you hadn't heard that news. Slime Shannon Sharp. Just mentioned that. Karen Belk is sliming the architect for Charlotte Christian Stadium. Oh my goodness. Concession and bathroom just on the home side, food not ready. Oh man. I'm sorry to hear that, Karen. Sorry to hear that. Who am I sliming this week? I have so many options
Hey, whoever's got the hot mic back there, Pip.
Yeah, we'll figure that out. Okay, I think we got that. But yeah, so many options to slime this week. Our Carolina Panthers, I felt optimistic. I sat here and I said, let's go Carolina Panthers on this show last week. I said it again at the end of Friday Night Live. I said it's going to be different. Let's go Carolina Panthers. Dan Morgan said he wants to get some dogs on the team. I thought we signed some dogs that were going to go out there and really do some special things on the football field. And then I got my Popeyes family pack wings on Sunday. Pre-ordered them on the app. Downloaded the Popeyes app. Picked them up. They were fresh, ready to go. My wife even had some. Got comfortable, sat in front of this TV right here. This is 75 inches to enjoy NFL football seasons. And what did we see? Before the daggone end of the first quarter, we're down 17 points. We come out there, we talk all off season about running the football, being physical in the trenches, protecting Bryce Young. We come out there and we throw a daggone crossing route right to the free safety. Missed them by 15 yards. What are we doing? And then we come back and we're pass protection up front, and we can't find someone to sit in the pocket and deliver the football to improved wide receivers on the outside. Our defense that has a great defensive coordinator. We're getting run all over the field. We're getting pushed back 7-8 yards. And linebackers are trying to scrape and make plays. There was a highlight where both linebackers and a free safety are coming down to try to tackle Alvin Kamara. They fall over each other like the Three Stooges. The Three Stooges, man. It is absolutely pathetic football that shouldn't even be on the NFL level. There are people joking in the national media saying we need to be relegated to the UFL. The UFL.
That of somewhat of
be serious.
Type women that
why are we so bad?
And be able to see some of the things
everyone wants to blame David Tepper. I'm sorry. The man's a billionaire. He's trying to do the best he can with what these people are saying the team needs to do. It's not David Tepper's fault. We just got our butts kicked by a mediocre New Orleans Saints team who doesn't even want the quarterback or the head coach that they have. What are we doing? What do we have to do as a franchise to come out here and play legitimate NFL football? It's bad when I want to bring back John Fox, who said a punt is a good play. That's bad, man. Why? Why get our butts kicked like this? Good night, everybody. Have a great week.